Well, greetings to you. It's Sunday, and I don't feel like the Blazers today. I just thought I'll just wear less clothing. Today's Sunday. These days, coupled with the heavy rainfall, which has eased a bit, the weather is a bit warm. So I want to be as relaxed as possible to talk to you today and in the unforeseeable future. That is if you would have me. But today I have something very troubling on my agenda, while not just exclusively focusing on what's happening in the banana republic we call Guyana. Whatever is happening out of Guyana will obviously influence what is happening in Guyana. And since we are trying to get away from the banana republic mentality into a more civil, intellectual, matured mentality of politics and doing things in Guyana, I certainly have to extend my thoughts beyond that. If you know what I mean. Welcome to Uncensored Guyana. I am Dr. L. Prasad, your precious gift. I'm still your precious gift. I haven't changed, and I can promise you one thing. I wouldn't change. Why? Because I'm not a politician. I'm not a politician. That's why I wouldn't change. I'm not telling you what you want to hear to get votes, or to appear to be human, or appear to be as if I'm concerned about you, or as if I live your pain, I feel your pain, I can imagine and empathize. I'm not telling you that bullshit. I'm not trying to make you feel that way. I am you. I am in your shoe. I do feel your pain. I feel your burden. My eyes cry your tears. My lips speaks your words. I'm not pretending. I'm not trying to capture any kind of sentiment, because I have nothing at stake. I have no political agenda. Nothing. So therefore, I'm authentic. So whether you can see me in your skin, or you want to play identity politics, or you want to see me as your religion, however you wish to see it, we have a similar issue. The issues that concerns me are the same issues that concerns you. It's not a PPP issue, it's not a PNC issue, it's not an Afro-Guyanese issue, it's not an Indo-Guyanese issue, it's an issue that affects all of us. So whether you want to give credence to whoever you think is responsible for that issue, as against who you think is trying to solve the issue, that's up to you. At the end of the day, we are suffering the same way. Absolutely. So I need you to understand and pay cognizance to that. I have tried to avoid talking about geopolitics, global issues, because my voice is very tiny. My platform is tiny, my voice is tiny, so there isn't much impact I can make, other than if I say something that is not consistent with what's trending in geopolitics, then I can have my platform compromised, Because while what I say does not impact the results of what's happening globally, if I say something that is not in accordance with the status quo, then they notice me. Then they pay attention. But as long as I ignore it, they don't bother me. But today I thought, fuck it. I've had my platform shut down so many times that I'm used to it. But I can't ignore it. Even if it means touching out to the few who think that I'm ignoring this on purpose. I want you to understand I'm not. I'm not afraid of being shut down. I'm not afraid of being, no, I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of that. I've already made my mark. I have nothing to lose. But this bullshit that's happening, this cultural war, as they call it, this political war, as they call it, this economic war, as they call it. Today we observe this illusion of a Father's Day thing. Globally, it's observed. But the people who are perpetrating this crime against humanity, the people who are inflicting economic, social wounds, are all men. And their fathers too. All of them are men, and all of them are fathers, because they have children. Every fucking one of them. So I don't see the point of Father's Day celebration today. I don't see the point. Because the people who are carrying the heaviest load are men. No, ladies, you're not. I understand, it seems like you are, but you're not. The people who have the weight of the world on their shoulders, on their backs, are men. It never ends, it never gets easier or lighter. And even so now, with this nonsense they are doing there in the Middle East with Israel and Iran and all these people, it has increased the burden on men 100 times. And if you are a father, multiply that by 10, 1,000 times. The burden is heavier on fathers because of what's happening globally today. That men have created, not God, not religion, men. Insecure, small penis men have created this nonsense we are all affected by. And there is no end in sight. My concern is Guyana. But the fact that I exist in many territories, the fact that Guyanese exist in many territories, the fact that the same people who exist in Guyana exist in Suriname, in America, in Trinidad, in the Caribbean, same people. And who are those people? Men and women, male and female, human beings. So this is not about identity politics. This is not about I'm a Surinamese or I'm a Guyanese, I'm a Trinidadian or a Bajan. I'm not concerned. No, you have to be concerned. Because the crisis that's hitting Guyanese right now, it's hitting Surinamese, it's hitting Trinidadians, it's hitting Bajans, it's hitting the entire CARICOM. Oil or no oil, it's hitting the average citizen that is not a politician. So in the countries I've just mentioned, the citizens who are suffering the most have nothing to do with politics. They have no political alignment. They have no political position. They have no political influence. And they are the ones who are carrying the heaviest load. And more specifically, the men, the fathers. But who cares? Who cares? You don't need much, you don't need much men to repopulate the world, right? That's what they say. You don't need much men to repopulate the world. But you need all the women you can find. You don't need so many men. So if the men are pressured and the men become sick and the men die, you have some young ones coming. We can work with them. It's easy to control the young ones, manipulate them and turn them into gay and faggots and stuff. It's easy to do that. But the strong men, the men of purpose, vision, resilient, who can resist, who can fight, get rid of them. We want the ones we can control. And they don't have to be many. So we talk about Father's Day today. But how much time have we taken to meditate on what it is like to be a man, much less to be a father? Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. As long as the food is on the table, as long as the woman gets the money when she wants, as long as your daughters can gold dig you, as long as all that can happen, and you can keep showing up and being punctual, predictable, then is when you matter. Keep bringing the resources. It matters not how affected you are as a man or as a father to deliver that resource. Nobody gives a fuck. As long as you find it and you bring it. And when you can't bring it on time or bring enough, you're emasculated, you're demoted, you're the worst of the worst. They try to set you up, scandal you. Nobody gives a shit. Why I'm concerned? Look at Guyana. Take a look. The men who are affected in the Guyanese economy is not one ethnic group, is not one skin color or religious persuasion. Most of the men in Guyana are affected. They're the ones who are always complaining about jobs, adequate pay, proper representation. I want to borrow for my point. I want to borrow the 38 men from India. I want to borrow that for my point. Those were not 38 women. Those were 38 men who made a sacrifice, leaving comfort, pleasure. Comfort as in around their family, pleasure as in with their wives or their girlfriend. They left that in India and traveled thousands of miles to a strange land only to secure a job, work. For what purpose? To provide for their family. They didn't come to Guyana to get jobs, to buy a fancy car and try to get women. They didn't come to Guyana to get jobs to buy a Nike or jewelry. They simply come because they wanted jobs that they can adequately provide for their families. And they sacrificed pussy, sex, comfort, just to earn. Men did that. You have situations where men would leave the city and go to the interior to work the gold mines, for months, only focusing on getting enough to provide for their family. They're not worried about sex. They're not thinking about pleasure. All they're thinking about getting enough to provide for their families. That's it. And yet you find other men who are trusted with a position of privilege, in that they have the privilege to make a difference. These men that we call politicians in no way entertain the thoughts that maybe we can try to make things a bit easier for the other men who have it hard. Because the Israel prime minister is a man, the American president is a man, the Iranian, whoever, they are men. If they can understand that their decisions, their policies, their wars are devastating the lives of hundreds of millions, billions of men around the world, if they can only understand that they could have been in the position of an average man who has to leave his family to go to the interior to provide for that family, if they can ever envision that that could have been them, maybe they would make better choices. Maybe they would make better choices if they can think of the interest of another man and how hard he has it because of the bad decisions they're making in the interest of their nations, as they claim. As they claim. But this is not just affecting them. Matter of fact, it's not affecting them. The same way you have voters may vote for a terrible candidate, and that candidate may be proven bad for the country and the economy. As a result of the voters voting for that candidate, the entire nation suffers. Not just the voters who voted for that candidate. Everybody suffers. The Strait of Hormuz is not just oil. Is not just oil must access that strait. Important life-dependent commodities comes from that strait, including fertilizer. Fertilizer. Fertilizer is like oil. It's like oil. Everything is linked to energy and fertilizer because you have to grow food. It takes oil to grow food. It takes fertilizer to grow food. And if you have a reduction in the supply of fertilizer and oil, what the fuck do you think happens? What do you think happens? We starve to death. We starve to death. That's what happens. They say no capitalism, supply and demand. This is people purposefully are doing this nonsense to kill the rest of the world. Where their only agenda is what? Is what? I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Seriously. I really don't get it. We want to liberate this nation, liberate that nation. I really don't get it, man. These men are creating problems for generations to come. And in a few years, these men will die and be forgotten. But yet, the problem they started, the crisis they created, the evil they bring on this world will live on even after they're gone. Look at the past. The World War I, World War II. We are still feeling the effects of those wars. The men who caused it are dead and gone. They're dead and gone. We are in similar situations now. 2026. Nations are rising up against their governments because the government failed to act. The Guyanese people are complaining, they're lambasting, they're bombarding the government of Guyana as if the government of Guyana shut down the Strait of Hormuz, started the Middle East conflict. You would think Irfan Ali shot the first rocket. We are holding our governments responsible for the crisis we are facing. We should. Why should we hold them responsible? Because they signed us on to a global community. They signed us on to a global community. So whatever happens on the other side of the world will affect us regardless of where we are. Will affect us. And when I say us, I'm talking about the voters. The voters. What has happened over the past 3 months? As a result, as a direct result, if you think it was hard during COVID, and COVID, we didn't cause it. We didn't start it. We didn't push it. We didn't conspire to get. We didn't do any. We had no contribution whatsoever to that thing. But we suffered. Now we have another situation, which is worst. Bombs flying, and a global important supply chain stopped. And every time the people who started it make an attempt to stop it, they have a disagreement. One party is saying, fuck it, we stopping this. I don't care who starved to death. I don't care which country enters civil war. I don't care about global inflation. I don't care about that. But you ain't stopping this. This is bigger than oil. This is about we want to take over the Middle East. And these people are in our way. We need to get rid of them. And if you don't help us, we'll do it alone. And if you try to stop us, we are going to leak more information about you and your bad behavior. So either way, we have you by the balls. You either help us to finish this job, regardless of what happens around the world, or more Epstein for you. What's it going to be? But while this politicking is happening, while they're holding each other at ransom, blackmailing each other, the average citizen is suffering. Guyanese are complaining about jobs, complaining about not getting adequate pay, complaining about the prices in the shops, talking about, oh, we're producing oil, we're selling oil. How come there's so much poverty still? Yes, the politicians who are pushing this narrative, they have to bring your attention to a tiny local issue that is not in any way influenced by global politics. They want you to think it's mismanagement of the Irfan Ali government as to why Guyana is having these issues with prices. That's what they want you to think. But Ali inherited the crisis from the PNC. At the time when Ali came, COVID was there. Ali is there now. What do we have? Global conflict that is directly tied to oil producing nations. Guyana is an oil producing nation. But Guyana does not determine where their oil go and at what price the oil is sold for. Guyana don't determine that. The fact that Guyana is a signatory to the oil producing nation, Guyana has to go along with whatever they say. So if the Strait of Hormuz is closed down, Guyana's oil production will be affected. So will the prices. And if it's affected, everything is tied to energy. There'll be more demand for Guyana's oil from the countries that controls the world. So there'll be a less supply of returns to the Guyanese people. And it in the government. The government has no control over that. Even if it was the PNC or some other party, it will be the same. You must understand, folks, it will be the same. This is bigger than President Irfan Ali. He has no control over this. But he has to politic and say what he has to say to make the Guyanese people think he has control over it. He has no control. None whatsoever. You have Venezuela right there. You see what happened to them? Now they're getting a relief, and it's not complete. It's not complete. If we had control of our destiny, no matter what happens in the Middle East will not affect us. Because the Caribbean has a lot of oil-producing nations. Trinidad, Guyana, you name them. Venezuela, name them. Producing nations, oil. But yet, in all of these countries, life is impossible. Impossible. Why? Because the governments of these countries are not in control. And if you keep changing the governments, you realize that the same thing with the other one. Isn't that what you say? All politicians are the same. No matter what government comes or goes, we all suffer. Exactly. Is there a solution to that? Yes, there is. It takes balls. It takes balls for a solution to come to that. And when you have some balls, what you do, what happens to you? You're assassinated, you are arrested and put in prison. So for your life and to keep your friends happy, you have to just go along with the flow. Walk the walk while your citizens suffer. Men suffer. The builders of the nations are men. Women nurture, they sustain, men build. But when you have men that are starving, they're being treated like dogs on the workplace. Other men are usurping that position to prey on their wives, insult them because they have to give them a paycheck. What future you think exists for that nation? You will have constant either revolution, uprising, social division, because somebody needs to direct their emotions and their anger somewhere. They need to focus it somewhere, blame somebody. And the politicians who may be the ones that are harvesting emotions and race baiting, they will direct that energy to the current government. He's responsible. He's at fault. He's causing you pain. He's doing that. But they forget that they were there previously. Previously, the same thing happened. Every country, before an election, the opposition blames the government, tells the people, we have a solution. We're going to get rid of poverty. We're going to bring prices down. We'll give you free housing. Every opposition does that. But after the elections, and if citizens who are desperate for a relief, who are desperate for change, they want to know that let's live and not have to worry about the bread price increasing in another 2 days. Let's just have a reverse of this pain. They trust the narrative, they trust the propaganda, and they vote on the opposition. Only to realize 6 months after, they're worse than the man who was there before. It happens every time. But citizens never learn. It's frustration. They're willing to take the gamble. They're willing to try the new man, even though they know that it might be worse than the ex. They're willing to take that risk because to them, they've given the ex so many times, so many opportunities, so many chances to make a difference, to change. But all they do is promise change and they never actually realize that change. So the woman is like, you know what? I'm willing to try the other guy. Let me prove myself wrong, but I've given you too many chances. The other guy comes, she realizes that he's worse than the husband, but she's willing to stick with it because she knows going back to the husband for what? You know what you'll get is either leave this one and you stay single, or you try to make do with what you have now, because what you left is worse than what you get now. None is good, but you know what to expect from the ex. So you don't want to go back to that. We don't want a situation like that when it comes to the Guyanese politics or the Guyanese economy. But people have real problems. There are times when I'm frustrated. When I look at what's happening in Guyana, I'm looking at what's coming out from the government side. I am frustrated. Because what I'm seeing, the rich gets richer. In Guyana, the rich is getting richer. Because the rich, no fault of theirs, they have placed themselves in strategic positions to access government products and services faster. And what are these positions? They have aligned themselves with lobbyists who have access to ministers and president, whoever it is, in their ears. So they don't have to work via emails or phones, in their ears. Then you see the president shows up at some function, opening some hotel, opening some business somewhere, and the average citizen is saying, see what we're talking about? The rich gets richer. This is the only place you see the president and minister showing up to open something, to commission something that benefits a certain few, while the average citizen are consumed by what's coming out from the opposition. That's telling them this is why, this is your problem, here is your problem. The friends of the president or friends of whoever it is. It may not necessarily be that case, but it's the perception, the image that's been portrayed. It's telling the Guyanese people, this is what you get. But then elections comes around, and then you have the government has certain programs. They go into neighborhoods and meet with a bunch of so-called poor people and make more promises. But when it comes to celebrating achievement, celebrating success, celebrating the fruits of the nation, celebrating the oil money, it's never amongst the average citizen. It's always with big donors, big businessmen, big this, big that, and an elite crowd with fine suits and fancy cars. They don't vote. But they're not addressing the issues that will help the Guyanese to understand this is bigger than us. When you have these companies who may come and invest in Guyana because of favors they may find through their lobbyists, who may be in the president's ear or a minister's ear or whatever it is, whatever politics and protocols and you know and the whole neocons and all these people, whatever they call it. These individuals are not affected by what is happening globally. Their monies are insured. It is protected. When these companies are established and they hire workers, the average Guyanese may not want to go and apply for jobs with these companies. Why? Because the salary they may be getting from these companies, it is worse than what the government will give. So if you cannot live on a government salary, how the fuck you can live on a private paycheck that is below what the government is paying the citizens? So the Guyanese will not go to get these jobs because they pay worse. The salary is worse. Their income is terrible. And if they can't survive working for the government, how the heck they going to survive working for private companies? So what the private companies does, they bring people from other countries that can work for less. And the people from other countries, all they have to do is to eat, go to the toilet, work, and save their money. They don't have to pay the high rent or pay whatever it is while they're in Guyana. They can save the money because the companies provide housing for them. Then they ship it back to their company, to their country where the value is higher in the currency exchange. But the average citizen, oh, it happens in Suriname too, in every country. The people who suffer the most are the locals, not the foreigners, the locals. Because the locals have to adapt to rising prices. The locals have to adapt to that. In the Guyana situation, you can understand why the locals are feeling the way they feel. Gas prices, prices in the shops, basic commodities. You can understand why people are stressing over that because they are feeling it. And these government agencies need to let the people understand. We're not the ones who are causing this. We have inherited this from geopolitics, how we have aligned ourselves. And it's not easy to get out of it. It's not easy. If we try to sell our oil as an independent nation, we'll be sanctioned. And if we'll be sanctioned, who's going to buy the oil? The international oil companies will pull out. It's not that easy. So however you try to look at the situation, we are all damned because of what these people are doing in the Middle East. We're all damned. The people of the countries, the citizens of the country, we have to stop trusting politicians. It seemed like every country usually produced the worst of the worst. Somehow, politics attract the worst of the worst. And it's the good citizens who usually complain. But yet, when we are choosing our politicians, we don't choose the good guys. We choose the guys who keeps fucking us up, selling us out, and robbing us of our due. Those are the ones we choose. But the good ones are complaining. Every country. Look at their track records. All the leaders. Look at their track records, but they're the one leading the country. If I had my way, I would call on all the nations, the people of the nations, to rise up and remove their governments. Demand better. The ones who are causing the war, rise up and remove your government. Tell them, hey, I wasn't born for this. What's in it for me? Nothing. If you're doing this to help your friends with investment or whatever it is, you're not benefiting me. Remove your governments. Every country, if I had my way. When it comes to Guyana, apply pressure on the government. Say, hey, we understand that you have to align yourself with whoever, but think about us. Put us first. And putting us first meaning you are now producing oil. The prices of oil at the gas station need to reflect the fact that you're producing oil. It must be cheaper. Way cheaper. You know, it's like you're producing bananas and plantain in your country. You're exporting bananas and planting in your country. But yet when you look at the exchange, the price for bananas in your local market, your bananas from your country is more expensive in your country than if you buy it in another country coming from your country. You get it? You are exporting bananas from Guyana. But if I should buy Guyanese bananas in Suriname supermarkets, it's cheaper than if I buy the same banana in Guyana. Why? You're making it there. You're producing it there. You're growing it there. You're harvesting it there. Why is it expensive in Guyana but cheap in another country? Same banana. Why? That's the scenario. The products that you produce in your country must be cheaper by 50% or more in your country. Export is what raises the price. But you're making it in Guyana and it's so expensive. But in another country, the product is cheaper. What's the common sense in that? So Guyana is exporting crude oil, but they got to buy it back. They export the crude oil, but they have to buy the refined oil. And by virtue of buying the refined oil, that exchange raises the oil price. And there's no explanation for that. Why? Because it's controlled by a global price tariff. The oil producing nations set the price. So whichever country you are, the same price applies. Producing or not, which is bullshit, which is nonsense. But then they're going to tell you, for the oil in Guyana to be cheap, you have to sell the crude oil cheap, so you can buy it back cheap. Nonsense. Well, we can't hold the government responsible for that because they're still busy with the gas to energy project. And the only way to know whether the oil is going to be cheap, very cheap, is if Guyana, after Guyana, is refining its own oil. And from that refined oil, which will be sold in a local market, then you can judge on the prices there. Then you can judge. But for now, since Guyana has to buy oil, Guyana has to buy oil based on the global price. And since the Strait of Hormuz, where 20% or 30% of the oil comes from, refined oil, and that is being threatened every day, now it's shut down again, life is going to be harder in Guyana, much harder. And politicians can't do anything about it. Oh, it's already hard in Suriname. You can't even imagine how difficult it is in Suriname. Very difficult. Trinidad, I have people everywhere. They give me updates. Life is impossible in the Caribbean. Painfully impossible. It's all justified because of the oil prices, because of the war in the Middle East, Iran and Israel and America and the Strait of Hormuz and all this kinds of stuff. They try to make a deal. This one sabotaging the deal. This one say the deal is finished. We sign, but this one start bombing the other one. The deal is threatened. Oh my gosh, it's exhausting, man. It is exhausting. Whilst at the same time, the people who are making you think they have your back, they want the best for you. That's what they're telling you. They have your back. They want the best for you, the citizens of the country. Those people are flying in the finest, most secured jets. They're traveling in body armored vehicles. They're wearing the most expensive suit and they're eating the most expensive meals in the highest 10-star hotels. 10-star hotels, not 5-star, 10. While they have their entertainment with virgins when they go on these trips. And they're telling you, oh, we're doing it for the best interest of the world. We're going to end the war. We're going to get a deal so that life becomes better for people. Since in the Iraq war with George Bush, we heard that, didn't we? Then Obama came, we heard that, didn't we? Then Biden came, we heard that, didn't we? Then Trump first term, we heard that, didn't we? Now Trump second term, we're hearing the same thing, aren't we? But yet, from George Bush to now, from the Iraq war to now, life is 100 times worse. They devastated the Middle East. Nothing good came out of it. They're doing it again. Nothing good is coming out of it, other than more starvation, more destabilization, more homelessness, more broken families, more men and fathers in prison or dead. That's what's happening as a result of the same set of people messing the world up all over again. And all we have to do is to wake up every day with the same hope that pastors try to tell their members, any day now Christ can come. Any day now your blessings can be here. Any day now your best is yet to come. So you have to live today with all the pain, the high prices, the disappointments, the depression, the uselessness, the insults, looking at politicians living large, looking at billionaires turn opposition leader living large. You have to live with that sign, only with the hope that tomorrow might be better for you. And when tomorrow comes, you hear the same thing. The next day might be better for you. And 10 years pass, and the people who are inflicting this on you, fuck your wife, your daughter, your side chick, your aunt, everybody in your family they slept with, because they could. Why? Because they have everything that you can only dream of. Why? Because you sit back and you accept the fact they know what they're doing. They have your back. End is near. Poverty will soon go. Life will be better. God will bless you. Take a bath. Have a spiritual bath. Burn a candle. Fast. Pray. Give a big donation to the church. Do charity. Respect your neighbor. Love other people. Obey your government. Honor the police. Be a good citizen. Be a first-class citizen. And you shall see your time will come. The only time your time comes is if you have the right connections to get into politics and your party gets into government and you get a position as a minister or a director or something relating to government access. That's the only time your time comes. If you have none of that, you're fucked. You shall continue to be fucked. Because none of these politicians, not in America, not in Israel, not in Iran, not in Guyana, none of them cares about you. None of them. The citizens have one thing in common: survival. I would rather see Guyana as a true independent nation, that despite what's happening in the rest of the globe, it doesn't affect the Guyanese economy. The Guyanese people must not suffer the consequences for events that is thousands of miles away and places they will never even go. And that comes from your governments. Your politicians must decide and determine that. But if they want to be seen with the West, they got to sign on to what's happening. It shouldn't be that case. This is a burden that's rested on my soul for quite a while. I see the suffering of people. I try to help as much as I can, but when I can't, it hurts. I get all kinds of names. They call me all kinds of names. Yeah, I'm a man too. I'm a father. I'm a man. So I face that criticism. But I understand my shortcomings. And I know what's responsible and who is responsible for my economic shortcomings. But I can't say I'm going to do different if I get into politics. I can't say that. Because if I get into politics or I become president, I have to surround my people I have to surround myself with people I can trust. But if these people that I surround myself with doesn't have the interest of the country, or me or my cabinet, I'll be in the same position as Irfan Ali. You can't do everything. And you can't fire everybody every time. You just got to hope the time comes and it just passes and you can say, okay, bye-bye to that. It is men, while they're the ones suffering, they're the ones who are causing the suffering. In the Guyanese situation, I've said before, if it means Guyana has to reduce or remove taxes from businesses so they can pay their staff better, then do that. I believe in my heart that men want to work. No man wants to leave his family behind and go somewhere for months just for money to send back to a family that he would not enjoy. Every man wants to know he can stick around his wife and children and provide and live right there. But if the places he's seeking employ or the business he's trying to create can't generate that kind of life, then he has to put it behind him, leave the country, leave the territory, and go somewhere else, whilst his wife has to find some way to cope in his absence. And usually, how does she cope? Some other man in the neighborhood who may have an opportunity to stick around the neighborhood might be offering comfort, while the husband and father is miles away, alone, cold, depressed, and tired, trying to secure a livelihood for the wife and children he left behind. His kids might be loyal, but his wife not. His kids might understand, but the woman not. He comes back to an active vagina. Men are causing that. The ones in politics, the ones running the governments. If only they can look out for other men, the societies could be better. The problems in the Middle East don't have to affect us. The short of fertilizer don't have to affect us. Encourage your nation to grow food. It is not easy for you to be living on somebody's property as a renting and cultivate the land and have a small kitchen garden. Most landlords don't want you to do that. You live, you pay, you're living in the house, you're not living on the land. You're paying the rent for the house, not the land. But if the people can have enough room when you give them land, give them enough room so they can grow their own food for their household, for their neighbors. That can solve the whole fertilizer issue. If the Strait of Hormuz is affecting fertilizer from coming, and as a result of that, food prices will go up locally because the fertilizer is scarce. If people are planting their own food, then that would not affect them. The fact that everything is tied to energy, and if the oil price goes up, everything goes up. As a government who's an oil producing nation, you can solve that easily. You can solve that easily. But the citizens don't have to suffer. Every era, life gets harder. Why? Technology is there. This increase. We have all of these advanced systems that is supposed to make human being lives better. But instead, your lives are 100 times worse with all of these technologies, all these advanced modernization. Life is much harder than it was 20 years ago. Why? Because the intent is not to make life easy. The intent to make the rich richer and life expensive so that the average man can never, ever dream of getting there. Unless, of course, he's a government minister or a politician. Either side, opposition or government, the people who benefit and have nothing to complain about are the politicians. They're the last person to talk to you about poverty, about high prices, how hard life is. Don't listen to them. Don't trust them. Don't take their word for it. They're lying to you. They want you to hate the government, to vote for them. Learn from your past. History forgotten is a history bound to be repeated. Guyanese, learn from your past. 2015, 2020, the same people now who are in position to tell you what your current government isn't doing for you, they were there for 5 years. For 5 years. They robbed, they stole, they lied, they propagandized, they starved, they used the judiciary to go after their opponents. They did all the things and even worse that they're complaining about the government not doing today. They did worse. They're the last people you should listen to. Your current opposition leader is a criminal, a vagabond, a thief. He is the impossible person for you to listen to. So after we would have discounted and disqualified those, you need to pressure the current government. Let them understand our aim is not to replace you or change you. Our aim is to bring to you our attention that, hey, we don't want to accept excuses. We don't want to accept deflecting and blaming other people. We put you there to solve these issues. And the issues we want you to solve, bring down the food prices, bring down the gas prices. That's it. Bring the food prices down because we have to eat. Bring the gas prices down because energy, if it's expensive, either way we're screwed. Those are the two things we want you to do. Irfan Ali government, bring down food prices, bring down the gas prices. That you can do. Tell your friends, take a small profit. But we need to keep the people healthy and their lives turning. But what's happening in the Middle East, it is sad. I condemn it. I'm against it. And if I have any say, I'll say it should stop. Israel should stop bombing Lebanon. America should stay out of the affairs of Iran. Let the people live their lives, run the government how they choose. and focus on your own country. But stop the bombs, stop the war, stop the killing, stop the genocide. It is wrong, it is inhumane. And as a man, as a father, you men who are doing this must first consider that. You are men, you're fathers. Let it end. Share this live. I want to hear from you in the comment section and tell me what you think. Subscribe to this channel. On Facebook also, subscribe to the channel there. On TikTok and YouTube and the other channels. And I'm encouraging you to go to Amazon.com and buy a copy of my books. There are 8. The complete series is now available. 8-part series, 8 individual books. Fun comes from reading. It's a one-time investment. While you may buy something that costs $100 or $200, and that thing may only last for a month, and then it's forgotten. When you invest in books, it's forever. It's forever. The next 10 years, 20 years, it's still there. You don't have to buy it twice. You buy it one time. Just once. And it's there forever. I have hundreds of books I've bought over the years. Many, many books. So I'm encouraging you to go to Amazon and buy any copy. You can download the ebook on your phone. You can buy a paperback. This is a paperback, like this. Only this kind is available. This one here is what you call a hard copy. This is a hard copy, and this is very expensive. So I told the folks, no, don't make that, because a hard copy, the price would be too much. But the paperback, you can get it in this or the ebook, which you can download on your phone or your laptop, or you can read anyhow, anytime you wish. And for those who want to have the hard copy, where you can get that directly from me, I can connect you to the local publishing, and you order it there and they can get it to you. But in the meantime, it's better to just get it from the internet, get it from Amazon. I don't know the time of delivery, whichever part of the world you are. If you are in Australia, India, China, wherever, it depends on the time for them to get it to you. But support the books, and you support the Dorga Foundation. Life is difficult, like I said before. We help each other. Politicians help themselves, but we, the citizens, we reach out and help each other the best way we can. So thanks for your attention. It's Sunday. And understand, we are not so obsessed with men are not obsessed with the whole Father's Day stuff. Nobody talks about it. Nobody bothers with it, talks about it. You see nothing anywhere. Father's Day, nothing. Nobody cares. But I want to admonish you in one thing. Human beings, humans. While we honor our mother because of that instinct and that sentimental, this love thing we call it, none of us would be possible. None of us would be possible without the sperm. It took a man to fertilize the egg. So understand, your first loyalty is to your father. Your first love is your mother, but your first loyalty is to your father. She may not encourage you to honor or worship him because of whatever issue women have with their men or the baby daddy crisis. But you as the child need to understand, it is not up to your mother to determine the level and content of your love for your father. It's not up to her. It's up to you. Because without him, you would not be possible. We seem to forget that. So while nobody cares on this fake Father's Day, just take cognizance to that fact that the world would not be what it is if it was not for men. Men, not women, men. And in that spirit, I would say peace, good health, prosperity to every man. And I hope the future is better for us men. Good day.